Halloween is nearly upon us, but SHATNER-WEEN is in full force. Every week in October, I'm reviewing a horror movie featuring the legendary William Shatner. And next week, on Halloween Day, I'll be posting a very special review. It's one you won't want to miss. Up next, I'll be taking a look at the 1982 slasher movie, Visiting Hours. But first, I have to mention that poster art. Just beautiful, isn't it? That iconic image is actually featured in the TV spots and trailers, too.
So frightening, you may never recover. Starring Lee Grant, William Shatner, Linda Pearl.
Good stuff. We open with a journalist putting a sleazy lawyer in his place. She's very passionate in her defense of a battered woman who killed her husband. Things get very heated, and we get our first appearance from the man himself.
Jesus Christ.
Wouldn't you say that it would be...
Shatner plays her boss and boyfriend, Gary Baylor. We get a glimpse of someone else watching the contentious interview, and he doesn't seem too happy. So the interview ends, and Shatner has to break it to her that he can't air it. She's ticked off and heads home in anger.
Well, let's talk about it over dinner. Now, let me take you home.
I'm not going home, I want to walk.
She will soon learn a valuable lesson. When Shatner invites you out to dinner, you damn sure better accept. Deborah heads home and finds things very quiet. A little too quiet. If the bird dies, but don't worry, it doesn't. Just when you start to wonder what's going on. So Deborah escapes with her life and is sent to a hospital for her injuries. Once there, a young nurse sort of takes her under her wing and watches over her. And Shatner even shows up again, trying to calm her nerves. Unfortunately for her, the killer isn't giving up that easily and targets Deborah and anyone else who gets in his way. I love slasher movies, and this hospital-themed horror flick is excellent. The hospital setting itself is very creepy and reminiscent of my favorite Halloween sequel, Halloween 2. We've got so many suspenseful and disturbing scenes, including one where the killer murders a poor old lady. As she suffocates, he intently watches, and even takes pictures as she dies. Michael Ironside is fantastic as the demented Colt Hawker. Great name, too. He portrays the killer as a disgusting and feral beast. The intensity of his performance is really a sight to behold. The guy hates women, and the film sort of comments on that, which is unique for an 80s slasher movie. I've actually seen this movie described as a slasher flick for adults, and I think that fits. Okay, let's talk about the man himself. Shatner gives a great performance here, and he's featured throughout the movie, but I have to admit, he isn't used here as much as I'd like. Here's the thing, you've got William Shatner in your slasher movie. Don't waste him. I want to see him get involved in the action more. A scene with him being stalked by the killer would have been great. Or maybe even a suspense sequence where he thinks he sees the killer and chases him through the parking garage or something, only to find out that it's a scared worker. Something like that would have been great. But Shatner is used throughout the film and even gets in on the climax. And he's the one who discovers the killer's death photos.
I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Do you understand?
Actually, why is she even worried? When Shatner makes a promise, you can take it to the bank. Now, even if Shatner hadn't appeared in this movie, I would still love it. But him being there makes an excellent movie even better. He elevates everything he's in, and this film is no exception. Apparently, Shatner had originally wanted to play the killer in this movie, and that would have been fun to see. But I gotta say, Michael Ironside, he's just fantastic here. So I do think the producers made the right choice in the end. The film is beautifully directed and shot, performances are fantastic all around, and there's a ton of suspense and memorable sequences. What's really weird is that this movie contains actual footage of me on my lunch break while working Black Friday weekend in retail. Crazy. But yes, Visiting Hours is yet another classic 80s slasher flick. It's very well done and is a must-see for horror fans, and Shatner appearing in this movie is just the icing on the cake. Scream Factory released a double feature Blu-ray with Visiting Hours and the classic 80s horror film Bad Dreams. Both movies look and sound amazing and include some nice special features, so if you haven't already, be sure to snag this release. It's highly recommended. Well, that does it for this installment. Next week, on Halloween Day, I'll take a look at something that combines two of my favorite things, and features the man himself, William Shatner. Stay tuned for the exciting conclusion to Shatner-Ween.